what's up guys? It's Dino and Alan all the way over there from Playback Racing, and we're gonna show you how to do a manual swap on a 6-speed SMT transmission on an MR2 Spider. So these transmissions in particular are already a standard transmission, but they use hydraulics to control the clutch and to control the shifting. So all you have to do is change your shifting mechanism to the standard vehicle shifting mechanism, as well as remove all the hydraulic components that make up the SMT system. So we've already started here, but it's gonna be easy to catch up. What we're gonna do on your car is you're gonna go ahead and remove the battery with the battery tray, as well as the intake system with the air filter and the throttle body. What in the hell is that? At least it's still Toyota. So there is the SMT style throttle body, because it has to blip your throttle as it makes the shift for you. So it's actually really huge and bulky. And here we have the manual style. So this is the hydraulic pump unit that activates your clutch and also does the shifting for you. And this unit will be removed. I'll show you where it comes out of. So if you look in the engine bay, it's gonna sit on the rear cross member behind the transmission. That's it right there. You can go ahead and just take that out. Easy. Alan, everybody. He's here all day. So one of the first steps of what you gotta do here is you're gonna go ahead and loosen. This is the shifting shaft, and this is just like a port, so you can control it manually, like from the engine bay, like for diagnostics and whatever. So this shaft is gonna change, and in order to take the shaft out, we're gonna have to remove this cover. It comes out with the spring. Okay, so go ahead and keep that, because you're gonna use it. You're gonna use it later. At this point, the shaft should move around a little bit, but you're not gonna be able to pull it out just yet. We're gonna have to remove this sensor, because this sensor is in the way. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and remove that shaft. The lovely Alan showing us the shaft. Nice shaft, Alan. So here we have the factory shaft, and this is the shifter selector. And here we have, I guess it's a factory as well for the manual swap. If you notice on the shaft, if we line up the shifting units, this is the part that's gonna stick out with our swap and go to our levers. And since we're not being controlled with the SMT system anymore, this is unnecessary. And a cover will be installed on the backside. So where the shifter came out of, if you follow this back, you're gonna have the whole SMT actuator system that's right here. This whole thing is about to come out right there, and we'll show it to you right now. Shop dog, what's up, Sam? What's up, Daddy? So the unit has 2 bolts on the top and 1 on the bottom, and then you simply remove it, and here it is. The only thing that you'll have to pop off, other than those 3 bolts, this goes onto the clutch fork. So I mean, I did it with my finger. I just popped it off of the clutch fork, because the clutch fork was holding onto it like this. So this unit, whenever you hit the shifter, it pulls on the clutch, and then it moves the shifting rod, and then it releases the clutch. So it literally does what you do with your hands and the clutch pedal, but it's all automated. I don't know why Toyota did this, because it's basically just a manual transmission with all this unreliable hydraulic trash on it. Hit me up in the comments if you have something to say about that. It's so hot, we're getting fat. For the most part, we're done with disassembly in the engine bay, so we're gonna go into the interior to change the shifter unit. All right, so moving on to the interior, it's got the shifter's got 4 bolts. There's 2 in the back and 2 in the front, along with a couple of electrical connectors, and we're gonna go ahead and pull that one right out. So the factory manual shifter assembly will bolt right up. What's up, guys? We're curious. Drop me a comment. What is this button right here? Looks like roof Wi-Fi. So on the back of the transmission, this seal sits too far to the surface. So we're gonna be removing that and installing the seal that came with the kit that sits further in. So this is what it looks like on the back side after you remove that unit. And this little hole right here, we're gonna end up dropping an aftermarket seal in there, as well as a plug that looks just like a freeze plug does on a motor. And that will completely eliminate the need for anything back here. As opposed to the other seal that sits on the surface, this one goes in a little bit further to reach the new shorter shaft, and then we have a freeze plug that goes in right after it to seal everything up. So just beyond that seal that we knocked out of the backside, there's going to be a small bushing, and you can use an extension or a punch to lightly tap that out. So there's the seal, and this is the bushing. So for us, at the end of our extension that we used to punch this out, a 12 millimeter socket was perfect. So on the front side of the transmission, where we pulled out the seal and the bushing, we will be installing this seal, which goes a little bit further in, like I showed you earlier. All right, now let's step back in the engine bay for some assembly. So here we have the shift shaft, and we're gonna go ahead and install it right down here, back into this hole. Now the difference between this one is that it's a little bit longer on the bottom end to adapt to all of the shift linkage that's gonna go on the outside of the transmission. And it's shorter on the top side because it no longer has to extend further out to go into that shifting hydraulic. Where's that junk at? Right there. So you're just gonna shove it in there and make sure that you are in neutral. Now you wanna make sure that the basket sits correctly. There you go. So now that we've got the shaft installed, we're gonna grab this cover. Now I'm gonna be applying a little bit of RTV right here after I clean it up. And this is how that shift plate adapter is gonna go. Now they come with 3 longer provided bolts, and then you just use one of the factory ones right here. And we're gonna be reinstalling that right here in the back. Here we go, like I said, we got the 3 longer ones and then the 1 factory. So the kit so far has been pretty well laid out. The instructions are not that bad. I wish there were some more pictures, but that's why we're making this video for you guys. I did have a question, so I called monkeyGarageRacing.com up and got someone on the phone rather quickly, and they were able to answer all my questions. So not so bad. So we got this little junk right here called the detent. Don't forget to reinstall it in this hole. So here we have the shifting mechanism. We use the weighted piece straight onto the shaft with the locking bolt. And then this is the side-to-side selector as it moves everything kind of forward and backwards. And then this is the one that actually selects the gear. So we would have the gear selection like this. And then you can pull it really hard, you get reverse. And it goes back to normal. So right back here under this radiator hose, there was a bracket on these 2 holes that I had to remove, and that is where this bracket is gonna go. So this bracket will hold your cables, and then they will link up there.
So now we have that piece installed. The next thing is we're gonna find out where through the firewall we have to run the wires. I mean the shifter cables, and that one's gonna go here, and that one's gonna go here.
So we have our shifter selector cables right here, and we're about to run them through the firewall. So running right down the middle, if you remove this trim piece, you're gonna see where the emergency brake goes through. Now this beautiful little circle is where we are going to do 2 holes with a hole saw in order to install this piece. Now this will allow us to run the new shifter cables out through the firewall without letting anything in like water, humidity, or contaminants. Now we have our holes, we can go ahead and smooth them out, and we'll install this accessory over here. As the shifter cables run out of that hole we just made, we're going to install this piece, and it's going to keep the cables nice and safe. It's actually quite easy because it splits apart, so you can actually wrap it around the cable, and then it goes tapped with the screws that that came in the kit. It's kind of hard. All right, there we go. And it goes right up against that firewall on that hole we made. And this is how it'll look right here. We're just gonna feed these bad boys through the holes we made. Once you route the cables where they gotta go, just go ahead and drop them on here. Okay, this will be the left to right motion, and this will be the forward to rear motion. And once you drop them on here, you just pop a cotter pin on there. Now make sure to drop these clips back here so that the cable doesn't come out of that bracket. So we have the shifter already installed. It uses these 4 12mm head bolts. We have the clips down here onto the shifting linkage, and then it's attached here, and then it goes through the back. This plate sandwiches that rubber right there with 2 self-tapping screws that they send with the kit. I mean, at this point you'll be able to test it, make sure everything is cool. You can shift into every gear. So with the kit comes included this wonderful template, and all I did was cut out the holes, and you place it right there, just right up against the frame and then right up against the wall. And it's cool because it says bump with black sticker, and there is actually a black sticker right there. Then you just drill those 3 holes and drop this bad boy in. We're gonna be installing the clutch pedal next and connecting it from the inside. Then we have to run the hydraulic line. So here we have the hydraulic line with the banjos, and this all comes included with that kit. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna come out of that cylinder I just showed you. It's gonna run under the car all the way to the cylinder that we're about to install on the transmission. So here we have the slave cylinder for the transmission, and this is what's gonna push your fork in. And speaking about the fork, there is this small adapter that goes on the end of your clutch fork on the outside of the transmission, and that will adapt so that the slave cylinder can fit right inside this little groove and stay there. So here we have the clutch fork adapter, and if you loosen this just enough, I believe you can just slide it in there, just like that. And then you just tighten up that bolt right there. Now on the other side of where we just were, right here with the clutch fork, you're gonna see, let me get it good, up here, that's where you're gonna install the slave cylinder so that it pushes that way up against the clutch fork. Got Scott over here making a video, looking all cool with his RX-7.
Now, difficult part is I don't know run all those lines.
All right, so back to the MR2. We're gonna go ahead and install this. This is the factory throttle body for the manual, and we're gonna be using the bolts supplied with the kit. Should be pretty easy dropping because the manifolds are the same. All right, so down here, this is kind of like an easier step. Thanks, man. We're gonna install this smaller brake pedal and remove this one. So it's kind of simple. Alan let me know. It's a 14 millimeter bolt with a nut right here. You're gonna have a plastic clip for the sensor, and then there's a spring that goes in right here, and you can pull this bad boy out. In continuation to the pedals, we're gonna have to add this bracket right here. So what this does is it bolts right up into the car, and it's where the clutch pedal is gonna pivot, the sensors are gonna go, the spring, everything. And here's the new clutch pedal. Here's the bushing, so we're just gonna drop them in kind of exactly how you're looking at it. This bushing will go on the other side, and that's what's gonna keep your pedal centered right here. And once we get this assembled, we'll show you how to drop this into the car. And now we sit pondering our next move. He thinks to himself, what is this guy up to? All right, guys, check it out. So here's the pedal assembly. It's basically going to mount like this. And on this side, you're gonna see this stud and the hole. Those are gonna go up on the firewall, and that's what's gonna hold the master cylinder in. All right, so here's the clutch switch. A lot of people bypass this so they can just start their car, but this kit comes with the wiring. So we're gonna see about doing everything that the kit comes with. There's a bushing that goes right next to the sensor. And up here, this was the cool part. We have the spring. So this is exactly how the bushing is gonna go on there. Large spring into the other bushing over there. This is your height adjustment. So if you need your clutch to disengage further up, you adjust this. All right, let's put it in. So forgot to show you this piece. Basically, it's a second spring that attaches like this. We just didn't have it in the last video. And both of these springs, what they do is not only do they hold the pedal up, but once you get about halfway, it actually helps you push down. So it helps you make the shift, and then the hydraulics push the pedal just slightly up enough for the springs to catch it again, and it shoots them up. I put all this together with my hands, so it won't be really hard. You just start up here, and then you just kind of squeeze it a little bit until it slides up there, and that's it. That spring comes out through that hole. That stud I was showing you, when it pops out right here on the bottom side, and you just put a nut on it, and then the cylinder has a stud only on one of the holes, and you put a nut on the inside of the firewall for that one. All right, what's up, guys? So it's wiring time here with the MRS, and I'm gonna show you pretty much a couple of the things that they're asking you to do, and then I'm gonna let y'all go down the list yourself. The instructions are pretty much gonna tell you just to cut some of these wires. Now, I will tell you that I thought I just had to cut them at first, so I didn't cut them entirely too short, but I just cut them a little long, is what I'm saying, so that, you know, you're able to get the butt connector on there correctly. So these are the supplied wires, like example right here on B12, you're gonna have to add a supplied wire, and then also on D18 here on the last step, you're gonna have to add a supplied wire. Now what that is this, and it has a terminal already on it, so it's kind of simple. These plugs, you're gonna be trying to pull all this and it's not gonna work. So it has like this little area right here across, if you can see. Now if you could just set something under there and pry this up, it's gonna pop up just a little bit, and that will allow you to slide the pin in there. You'll hear it click, and then you can just grab this and push it back in. Let me pop it off real quick so I can show y'all. All right, there you go, guys. So check it out. So I was able to, you just pop that up like that, and that'll allow you to take pins out and put pins in. And then when you're done, you just push it all back down like that. Voila. So the kit comes with these 2 plugs provided, and what they are is they go here on the throttle body. So one of them plugs in right here on the TPS, and I believe the other one is the idle control there. Basically, this wire right here, which is the one closest to the firewall, is going to be the original throttle position sensor, and we're only going to use 2 cables off of this, and then we're supposed to tee the 3rd cable, which is B pin, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. We're supposed to tee that cable off of, yeah, it's B pin. We're gonna have to tee that cable off of the mass airflow. Basically, here we go. It shows you the 2 cables provided in the kit, and it gives you the pin out like from the front of it. And then here are the stock connectors. So this will at least give you a little bit of know-how as you run through these instructions that say pin 1 of I1, which is I1 right here. I thought it said 11 at first, but yeah, I1. And then as you cut, wires no longer used, just kind of go down the steps. Here we go, got 2 of the wires so far, and the 3rd wire, which is pin 2, if you come here to the mass airflow sensor, it's asking you to tee into this connection, the black wire. So go ahead and plug those in once you've terminated them, right here and right here. I went ahead and wrapped up the unused cables. There's the mass airflow with the T in it, going over there to the TPS, and this is for the solenoid right here. Just go ahead and reassemble everything. Everything's kind of done. Basically, the entire kit is done. Just put your battery tray with the battery, the intake piping, and then your air box. All right, guys, so down here with the pedal, we're gonna see this wire right here. It's usually just loomed up. Even with these automatic vehicles, it's still in the harness. It's just unused. So go ahead and plug that into your sensor, and we're gonna tee into the black with the yellow stripe, and then we're gonna run this one back to the computer. I'll show you where I ran it. If you trace, here it is right here, and it's gonna go into connector B1, which is a black wire with a yellow stripe. So you're gonna cut this. We don't need to put anything into the computer side, but that cable that we just routed forward actually goes straight into the harness side of B1, which is that black cable with the yellow stripe. All right, so granted everything was put together correctly, your vehicle should start right up. So let's go ahead and give it a try. All right, so moment of truth, guys. We have the battery charger going plugged in, and we're gonna see if we can get it started. So let's hop back inside. All right, so here we go. I'm kind of sitting in this thing like whatever, but let's see if it'll start. Dang, I might need this. It's a good sign. Let's push the clutch. All right. Sounds pretty good. There's always gonna be some haters, guys, but you just gotta ignore them, you know? Don't worry about what they say. All right, guys, so thanks for watching the video. If you watched the whole thing, you were probably installing this kit yourself. It's the Monkey Wrench Racing SMT to manual transmission kit, and we have the 6-speed. Again, my name is Dino. This is Playback Racing here in Houston, Texas. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow, and if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out to me in the comments section or send me a message. All right, and let me know what you want to see next.